So our intro wasn't working just now. Mm-hmm. Welcome back. We're Resistance Chicks. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
It's our world news.
I am so excited about this
episode.
Today
is the 29th of December. We are almost to 2020.
So let's go across the pond, okay, to... And I'm not hitting every country. There's a lot of countries.
Wait, real quick. QWERTY Neil says, and I love this actually, that the feminist movement should be used in Islamic countries. Women aren't oppressed here in the United States. Exactly. So all the feminists, I believe, here in the States should go to Middle Eastern countries and start rallying and preaching their feminism there. I think that AOC would be a perfect candidate for that.
Yeah.
I think that the whole five there, Ilham Omar and all of them
moved away from feminism. Feminism doesn't mean anything to them anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're going on to Brexit and now we're hitting Europe, okay, European news. I want to hit this article a little bit here from Breitbart, Delingpool. The 2010s Merry Brexmas. Now that we're calling it Merry Brexmas, by the way, that's blinking here on Breitbart. The 2010s were the twilight of the elites. This was the decade of the twilight of the elites. From Brexit to the U.S. President Donald Trump, from Bolsonaro in Brazil to the people's revolutions that have swept Europe, the arrogant, the corrupt, the complacent political establishment of the old order, the old guard, fought desperately to uphold their rotten homogeny only to be crushed and schooled and humiliated to the point of a near irrelevance by a mighty wave of populism. And that's the word people are using. I wish they come up with different words, but we're just going to call it populism as I pop out of my chair. Here are some key moments. We got Donald Trump's victory. I'm going to skip that one. We all know that. Nigel Farage. Okay, we know that.
I've got the speech here.
Project Fear.
When you're ready for
Donald Trump's tweets. Obama's red line. South America's Trump wins Brazil. The United Nations fails to stop climate change. People in this country have had enough of experts. British politician Michael Gove is right, of course. This is the decade which tested the notion of expertise to destruction. From the expert political analysis who told us that Brexit and a Trump presidency were an impossibility, to the scientific experts who kept insisting against all evidence that climate change was a deadly and unprecedented threat. From the media authorities who told us that Islam was a religion of peace and that anyone who... Can we say that? There we go, there's our channel. And that anybody who worried about irrelevant stuff like border security and immigration or national sovereignty was far right. To the medical experts who told us that there are definitely more than two genders. We finally realized that the expert class of supposedly trusted authority has in fact had most of its common sense educated out at the university. 17 different intelligence agencies. We talked about that with Donald Trump. Let's see, Boris Johnson versus Davos, the Davos party. Among Prime Minister Boris Johnson's first move on winning the recent general election with a much, much larger majority than had been predicted was to ban his ministers from attending the annual Globalist World Economic Forum shindig in Davos. That is huge. He says, no, don't go there. We're not part of them.
Wow.
Awesome. Okay, so the biggest thing to shake Europe in a long time.
Nigel Farage.
May I introduce to you Nigel Farage?
That's not Nigel, that's a commercial. With an ad. Sorry, it can't be
What are we selling today? Skip ad in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Funny, isn't it? Funny, isn't it?
This was after the win of Brexit. Yep.
Thank you very much for that. Very warm welcome. How things have changed.
Eine Sekunde bitte. Just a second, Mr. Farage.
Kolleginnen und Kollegen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Eine große Qualität der Demokratie ist,
major quality of democracy is that you listen
deren Meinung man nicht
to those, even if you don't share their opinion.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Mr. Schultz. Isn't it funny? You know, when I came here 17 years ago, and I said that I wanted to lead a campaign to get Britain to leave the European Union, you all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you? And the reason you're so upset, the reason you're so angry, has been perfectly clear from all the angry exchanges this morning. You, as a political project, are in denial. You're in denial that your currency is failing. You're in denial. Well, just look at the Mediterranean. No. As a policy to impose poverty on Greece and the rest of the Mediterranean, you've done very well. And you're in denial over Mrs. Merkel's call last year for as many people as possible to cross the Mediterranean into the European Union has led to massive divisions between countries and within countries. But the biggest problem you've got, and the main reason the United Kingdom voted the way that it did, is you have, by stealth, by deception, without ever telling the truth to the British or the rest of the peoples of Europe, you have imposed upon them a political union. You've imposed upon them a political union. And when the people in 2005 in the Netherlands and France voted against that political union, when they rejected the Constitution, you simply ignored them and brought the Lisbon Treaty in through the back door. What happened last Thursday was a remarkable result. It was indeed a seismic result, not just for British politics, for European politics, but perhaps even for global politics too, because what the little people did, what the ordinary people did, what the people who've been oppressed over the last few years and seen their living standards go down, they rejected the multinationals, they rejected the merchant banks, they rejected big politics, and they said, actually, we want our country back, we want our fishing waters back, we want our borders back, we want to be an independent, self-governing, normal nation, and that is what we have done, and that is what must happen. And in doing so, we now offer a beacon of hope to Democrats across the rest of the European continent.
And it's
I'll
happened.
make one prediction this morning: the United Kingdom will not be the last member state to leave the European Union. So the question is, what do we do next? Now, it is up to the British government to invoke Article 50. And I have to say that I don't think we should spend too long in doing it. I totally agree, Mr. Juncker, that the British people have voted. We need to make sure that it happens. But what I would like to see is a grown-up and sensible attitude to how we negotiate a different relationship.
We didn't end up seeing that.
Now I know that virtually none of you have ever done a proper job in your lives.
The lady's behind him laughing.
She's my favorite. She's my favorite.
Or worked in business, or worked in trade, or indeed ever created a job. But listen, just listen.
Herr Farage, Augenblick.
Mr. Farage, just a second.
Liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen,
Ladies and
bei allem
gentlemen,
Verständnis für Ihre Aufregung,
I do
Sie
understand
benehmen
that
sich
you're
gerade wie
getting
UKIP sich
emotional, but
normalerweise hier
you're
in diesem
acting
Haus
like
benimmt.
UKIP
Also
normally acts in this chamber, so please,
kopieren Sie sie nicht. Herr
don't
Farage,
imitate
ich will Ihnen
them.
allerdings eins sagen. Ihre
Farage,
Äußerung,
however, I would say
dass
one
die
thing to
Kollegen hier in
you.
diesem Hause niemals einen ordentlichen Job gemacht
The
hätten. Sie
fact
müssen
that
nicht von
you're
sich auf andere
claiming
schließen. Das
nobody
geht
has
so
done
nicht.
a decent job in their life, you can't really say that. I'm sorry.
No, you're quite right, Mr. Schultz. UKIP used to protest against the establishment, and now the establishment protests against UKIP. So something has happened here.
The spin
Let
there,
us
baby.
listen
It's so
to
good.
some simple,
It's so good.
pragmatic economics. We,
Oh,
between
I wanna
us,
be like him.
between your countries and my country, we do an enormous amount of business in goods and services. That trade is mutually beneficial to both of us. That trade matters. If you were to decide to cut off your noses, to spite your faces, and to reject any idea of a sensible trade deal, the consequences would be far worse for you than it would be for us. And even no deal is better for the United Kingdom than the current rotten deal that we've got. But if we were to move to a position where tariffs were reintroduced on products like motor cars, then hundreds of thousands of German workers would risk losing their jobs. So why don't we just be pragmatic, sensible, grown up, realistic, and let's cut between us a sensible tariff-free deal, and thereafter recognise that the United Kingdom will be your friend, that we will trade with you, we will cooperate with you, we will be your best friends in the world. But do that, do it sensibly, and allow us to go off and pursue our global ambitions and future. Thank you.
So one of the reasons why we gained so many British views to start with on Resistance Chicks, if we're looking back, and we are, was because we covered that that speech.
Yes. And where did we learn about covering that speech? He went on Alex Jones. Nigel Farage was on Alex Jones. And that's why I love Alex, is he told us all about this stuff. And I was so intrigued by what Nigel was doing. I was so intrigued by Brexit. And when we started to see some of these viral videos, and you started to Google Nigel Farage, and you started to see that he was standing up to this global elite, the same global elite that's been affecting us. It's the same elite. It's a globalist all over the globe. The globalist for a reason. It felt like a breath of fresh air, and the way he was able to spin, like you just saw. Hey, Mr. Farage, don't attack people, blah blah blah. And he says, "You're absolutely right." Now
so
you're
I want to show these guys just how to, if you want to see Resistance Chicks and Nigel Farage.
Okay.
So this is one of the first videos that we had done on Nigel. This was the "You're Not Laughing Now" one. It's a short clip. Here's another one that we did. This one had almost 53,000 views so far. I still get comments on this, by the way, from people. We've got the ones where we called in to Nigel Farage here. We've got some more recent ones. Our call into Nigel has had over 3,000 views. So just different ones that we've done on. We called into the Nigel Farage show over the Tony Blair attending the War Memorial, and we put that on there. So you can literally just go to our YouTube channel and go to this search bar right here and enter in Nigel Farage or any other topic that you would like to see if we've talked about or covered. And do you need that over that far?
No.
Okay. And you we have, I don't even know how many. Let me take you here to the studio here. Let's see if it'll tell me how many videos we have. I think we have close to over 3,000 videos on our, let's see, channel. It should tell me. It's not telling me. But anyway, we have over 3,000 videos. So if you're just joining us, you've been watching us maybe the past year, we probably have 2,000 more videos. I don't know. We have a ton of content, and you can find it all in that search box on our YouTube until we get taken off, and then they're all gone.
So where is it? Where are we at? Where are we at right now? We have had what was it? It was so funny. The 12 days of Brexmas, talking about just trying to get through Brexit, was watching you guys do that with you lost a prime minister. You've had
that wasn't much of a
three different
loss.
Major votes. No, I mean, but it is a big deal. It was a big deal. Just so many different things going on. It was such a fight. But where are you at right now? Farage says, Boris needs to be tough in the coming negotiations, but Britain is now headed in the right direction. The United Kingdom has turned a corner under Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Brexit leader Nigel Farage has said as he has reflected on what awaits the nation in 2020. Longtime pro-independence campaigner and Brexit frontman Nigel Farage, who was snubbed for official recognition for his enormous impact on British politics in the New Year's honours list, despite widespread speculation that he would be knighted, was full of praise for the Prime Minister, but warned he would have to negotiate hard in the coming year. Speaking to British talk show on LBC, Mr. Farage said Boris Johnson was talking with a lot more positivity, I think. about Brexit and Britain's future, and said that while it was on balance unlikely the European Union would move to fully obstruct the United Kingdom in 2020, they also don't want to see the country become an economic competitor on their doorstep. And he says it's likely to go to the wire. I don't think the European Parliament is going to vote on this until the 30th of January. So there's going to be some brinksmanship going on there. Ultimately, I think they will support this. And if they didn't, goodness, we will be in for a fascinating 24 hours. Would Boris just simply have to leave? So it's very exciting. But I think he says that you guys are on the right track. Seeing the speeches of Nigel in Parliament the past 3 years has been amazing.
Yeah.
Seeing that right before 2020 that you guys elected in this majority, this Brexit majority, that you get to end on this huge high note. And with that, it's I think this would be kind of funny to share. Let's see, I think is it oh, here we go. 12 months of Brexit, 1 election, 2 prime minister, and 3 Brexit delays. It's been a year of Brexit battles these past 12 months, but it finally looks like the end is near and the United Kingdom will leave the EU. More than 3.5 years after the historic referendum. In keeping with the Christmas season, Breitbart London has 12 months of Brexit, 1 general election. On the first day of Brexit, the voters gave to me an 80-seat Tory majority.
That's really good.
So after 1 referendum, a 2017 general election where 91% of the seats were won by parties that pledged to respect the referendum result, a win for the Brexit Party in the European Parliament elections, and a 2019 general election that delivered the stonking majority for the pro-Brexit Tories, it is safe to say that the two remainers that yes, the Brexit question is settled.
Done.
Even Remainer zealot Tony Blair was forced to admit that Britain will leave the EU, saying the election settled the debate on Brexit and that now that Brexit will happen, we must make the best of it and the country must come together. Prime Minister Boris Johnson had called the election, we talked about that, to clear out the Parliament of Remainers so he could pass his Brexit legislation and deliver Brexit by the deadline of January 31st, 2020. So you had 2 prime ministers. Remainer voter turned very reluctant Brexit Prime Minister Theresa May was the last candidate standing when appointed leader of the Conservative Party in 2016, after failing to pass her unpopular withdrawal agreement with the EU 3 times at the beginning of the year, delaying Brexit twice. And we're leaving on the 29th of March. We're leaving on Halloween. We're leaving on June. In June, and surviving a no confidence vote, Zombie May finally resigned in June. Boris Johnson, who once called May's deal a big turd, helped lead the pro-Brexit Vote Leave campaign group in 2016, won the ballot to succeed her as party leader and prime minister in July. You guys had 3 Brexit delays. You had Tory rebels.
That was 4. We're doing the 12 days of Christmas.
4 Tory rebels, 5 fruitless Brexit deal votes, 6 weeks till Brexit technically, 7 times Burkow exposes anti-Brexit bias, 8 court challenges, 9 Brexit boosts, 10 whips restored, 11 TI jeers, 12 a very Brexit Christmas. Okay, this one is a little bit of a cheat, but after 12 months of anti-Brexit plotting and shenanigans, it's important to put on 1 chorus of this song aside to sit back and breathe a sigh of relief until 2020, when Remainers will likely try to find new ways to stop the UK leaving the EU. What better Christmas could a Brexiteer ask for than a prime minister with a stonking majority who had promised to deliver Brexit? So I thought you guys would enjoy this. This is you guys have a very funny way of doing things in the UK where you like to mix. I love the Great British Baking Show, by the way. It's one of my favorite. I do too.
Oh my gosh, we love that show.
So Boris Johnson mixes up baking shows and Brexit in a Christmas video.
Hello everybody, today we're going to make that festive family favourite, the Christmas mince pie, and I'm joined by the dynamic baking duo.
It sounds just like
Boris and Stanley.
So what
that's his dad.
We're going to start with the...
That's his dad.
You're going to put that into your bowls.
Yep.
And then you guys are both going to cube your butter. So do you both eat mince pies at Christmas?
Yeah. Well, I can remember when Boris, it was what was that comment? You had a competition.
Yeah, that's right. A chap bet me that I couldn't eat a mince pie in 5 seconds flat. What he didn't point out was that the interior of the mince pie was scalding hot.
No, but you ate it.
I did.
The point is, you ate it while
I
it was scalding
got
hot.
that mince pie done.
Get it done.
I get it.
The whole thing is an extended metaphor. What you have here is a series of ingredients, some of which are a bit more disparate and diffuse, like the flour or the sugar or whatever that is, and icing sugar. And what you need is a binding element there, like the egg, which will bring it all together. And actually, I think about the things that bring our country together. I'd say the NHS is pretty cohesive, as it acts as something.
You would say extraordinary.
It is extraordinary.
So what is your favourite family Christmas film?
Well, mine would be Home Alone. I haven't seen Home Alone, but I think the Great Escape.
Oh, yeah, that's a Brexit message.
You've never seen Home Alone?
I've never seen Home Alone. But the Great Escape, of course, contains a very important message, which is you try, then find and you get out on.
You try.
First. That's what we're going to do. Okay. This is a very good metaphor because the thing about the United Kingdom is that talent and genius is distributed evenly, but opportunity is unevenly distributed. So what we need to do is distribute the opportunity evenly.
Where do you think this country will be next Christmas?
I think
apart from rejoicing in this recipe.
We'll be able to unite and level up the whole of the country with infrastructure, education, and high technology, and take this country forward.
And
investing in the NHS, investing in our public services, putting 20,000 police on the streets, unblocking Parliament, and
mince pies for everyone.
And mince pies for everyone.
So let us unleash these bases onto your butter thing. You pass some meat into them, but not meat. Well, yes.
Mince meat. I would slap it all in. I would give it lashing.
What do you think the likelihood of a trade deal is for these son and son mince pies? I
think these have a massive export potential. I think they are the most unattractive little mince pies I've ever seen. Ready? Here we go. This is it. Here we go. Oven ready.
And in they go.
In they go.
Like raisins.
Terrific.
Like
out before Christmas. Very good. Thank you very much.
That is hilarious. So I thought you guys might enjoy that. I also
really fun.
John Burkow, we started our show, one of our favorite things to do, and you guys even sent us a John Burkow face
mask, which I can't find, by the way. I need to.
But this is from
somewhere.
This is Boris Johnson paying tribute to Mr. Speaker John Burkow in kind of a tongue-in-cheek way. But I want to play this as well. I'm gonna miss Burkow, and I wish he was a little bit more right-leaning because I enjoy the way he talks. It's so fun and funny. But here we go.
Sat up there in your high chair, and not just as an umpire, ruthlessly adjudicating on the finer points of parliamentary procedure with your trademark Tony Montana scowl, Mr. Speaker. And not just as a commentator, offering your own opinions on the rallies you are watching, sometimes acerbic and sometimes kindly, but above all as a player in your own right, peppering every part of the chamber with your own thoughts and opinions, like some tennis ball machine, some uncontrollable tennis ball machine, Mr. Speaker, delivering a series of literally unplayable, formally unreturnable volleys and smashes. And although we may disagree about some of the legislative innovations that you have favoured, there is no doubt in my mind that you have been a great servant of this Parliament and of this House of Commons. You have modernised, you have widened access, you have cared for the needs of those with disabilities, and you have cared so deeply for the rights of backbenchers that you've done more than anyone since Stephen Hawking to stretch time in this particular session. And as we come to the end of what must be the longest retirement since Frank Sinatra, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the whole House will want to join me in thanking you and hoping that you enjoy in your retirement the soothing medicament that you have so often described for the rest of us.
You have to admit that the one thing that the Brits have
humor.
is humor that is really great. That you're not going to see any of that in the U.S. Senate. Or
Yeah.
House.
All right. So, ooh, loud. So we could spend all day on Brexit in the UK, but I want to kind of go over here and talk about the Yellow Vest movement, which we covered a whole lot of. The movement there. Marine Le Pen was huge in this decade, and she still is big. There's a fight back, and again, I want you guys to pray and continue on fighting for France.
Yeah.
Here's a video, Yellow Vest protest in March for the last March. Yellow Vest protesters march in Paris for the last time this year. Now again, why is this a populist movement? These are, there's a lot of reasons behind this movement, but I guarantee you that it is an anti-Macron, government protest, and I'm hoping that when they see another election, that they might think to themselves, well, I probably should have voted in Marine Le Pen's party.
Right.
And if I had done so, you might not be here today. But remember, you didn't have these same... the Yellow Vest movement was created as a result of the socialist principles, the Macron government, the EU principle, the ideas that you can just kind of usher people in and control how they live and give them and keep them on the payroll for so
they are fed up. And what's fascinating about the Yellow Vest movement that started in France for one reason has spread to different movements around the world where people
and it's more of a populist movement. It's not necessarily a young movement. It's people who just want their rights back. You can see, the retirement money that you get in a socialist government. They say, well, we're going to take care of you in retirement. They're not being taken care of. It started with one little thing. It started with a tax on gas, and that was enough. And that's the idea. Stop taxing us to death, and you're not giving us enough of our money back to even live on.
A lot of these people have like $400 a month to live on.
Exactly.
Like you tell me, even if the government pays for your health care, and even if they paid for 100% of your housing,
and yet people who
that's not enough money for
people who are in the European Union, in the Parliament, and those leaders, they have tons of money,
right?
And things like that. So,
the price of goods.
I think I have this. Is you guys are gonna love. Barry sent me this. No,
pretty soon I'll have to go, and we'll both have to go. So you got to wrap it up.
I have a couple more minutes here, yeah.
Like
5. Okay, 5 more minutes. We're going to do Hungary and Poland in 5 minutes. All right, so here are all of the people in Britain that lost their seats. Big people that I saw on TV. I don't know who these people are. I saw these people interviewed all the time. That guy was just being interviewed with Rees Moggs, but he's not a parliamentarian anymore. These people lost their seats.
Labour Party members.
And then we have, and then Joe Swinson from the Lib Dems. You guys know who these people are. But I know it means something to you. They snubbed you. I think he was one of the Brexiteers, unfortunately. But I'm not sure if he was. Okay, so, ending here, if we can't talk about the big switch if we don't talk about Hungary and Poland.
Right.
And what we've seen here in Hungary and Poland, I got this, you've got Viktor Orban and the Polish government coming together. They have been, this year we've seen them roll out incentives for families, for starting children, ads. Both of them, both Hungary and Poland came out with ads. Have more babies for your country.
And you all should do that too. Nom Nom is here in the chat. They just had a baby. Congratulations.
Hungarian government, Christian culture attacked across Europe and the world. The Hungarian government has warned that Christians and Christianity are increasingly being driven out of public life in Europe, as well as being persecuted around the world more viciously than any other religious minority. And this is where I want to get to. It's this Christian principle. This is what they're doing. They are using the gospel.
Yeah.
To push back. Poland and Hungary, in different ways, are using the gospel. Some years ago in Brussels City Hall, it was decided not to set a Christmas tree. And in Santa Monica, California, a ban on nativity screening was made on the grounds of world neutrality, says Tristan Azbed, the Hungarian state secretary with particular responsibility for the Hungry Helps program, which extends aid to Christian minorities globally. And comments reported by the Hungarian press. Meanwhile, in Germany, Christian songbooks have been burned, and in France, churches have been attacked every year. And Christian symbols and religious objects have been damaged, such as the crucifixion. Christianity is the most persecuted religion, with about 250 million Christians worldwide being persecuted or discriminated against, and thousands of people were killed last year because of their Christian beliefs. The Hungarian government, on the other hand, is committed to the protection of Christian culture and strengthens it in the world by inter alia, combating migration. They hope that over time Europe will realize the importance of this. The Hungry Helps program is not, as Bej indicates, primarily concerned with helping Christian minorities in the Middle East and elsewhere to migrate to the West, a process which has seen the Christian populations in countries like Syria and Iraq collapse, but to help them where they are. They're not helping them migrate. They want to help them where they are in order to preserve their ancient communities and their way of life for posterity. Hungry Helps has supported so far Christian communities by more than $35 million, provided scholarships, helped 70,000 refugees to return to their ancestral homes. So there we have that. I wanted to make a note real quickly that the Pope snubs Hong Kong and its Christmas message and says, I can't wait to go visit Beijing. So you see the globalist communists there, and we'll cover that another time. Also in Hungary, Hungary decries 11 Christians are murdered every day. And you just see this big push to help Christians and that's what they're using as the gospel for protection. Hungary's Orban Christian persecution is an organized attack on an entire culture. Prime Minister Viktor Orban told a packed hall in the capital this November in the capital of Hungary. It is proud of its Christian heritage and will do all in its power to defend its Christian identity. We are proud that our King Saint Stephen built the Hungarian state on solid ground and made our country a part of a Christian Europe 1,000 years ago. We recognize the role of Christianity in preserving nationhood. The Prime Minister said Saint Stephen, our first Christian king, was an enlightened monarch, a visionary who wrote a guide, and this was talking about step one, remember the past, remember the past, who wrote a guide for his son Emmerich called Admonitions, and that we Hungarians read as a personal message to each of us, both as a nation and as individuals. Find your historic people who've been praying for you, who sowed seeds for you. And it has been a source of our strength and flourishing. Along with urging him to preserve the Christian faith, the admonitions also contain precious counsel for good citizenship and good government. Be merciful to all who are suffering violence, keeping always in your heart the example of our Lord, who said, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. Be patient with everyone, not only with the powerful, but also with the weak. Finally, be strong lest prosperity lift you up too much or adversity cast you down. Be humble in this life, that God may raise you up to the next, raise you up in the next. This is the power. If you want to know what is going on, where is it? Viktor Orban just gave you the message. Yeah. This is the message. Yeah. This is the same message that the Pilgrims gave. Okay, this is the message. This is the hope that's going out. This is the light that's lighting up people, and it lit up. And the devil has been attacking you and saying no, no, no. So he's been trying to shut us down on the internet. He's trying to jail people for speaking out free speech. That had other articles like, is this the year? Is 2020 going to be the year where we get the genders back? Okay, have they gone too far? Right. The devil went too far. The devil went too far, and it drew out Christians out of the closet. Christians who have just been praying on their knees. I said, I have to make a stand. In his speech, broken up periodically by enthusiastic applause, the leader echoed words written by Pope John Paul II in the year 2000 to commemorate the 1,000th anniversary of Hungary as a Christian nation. When St. Stephen wrote his admonitions for his son Emmerich, was he speaking only to him? Said the Polish Pope. Did he not write the Polish Pope, right, in Hungary? This is a brotherhood, by the way. a brotherhood. He left you the spiritual testament, a heritage of fundamental and indestructible values, the true house built upon the rock.
Amen.
Viktor Orban said that despite its small size, Hungary has an important mission to play in this world, and wherever you are, you have an important mission to play in this world. Hungarians make up only 0.02% of the world's population, so how much difference can it make? Is it worth it? He then proceeded to invoke the historical example of the 12 apostles who changed the world by their Christian witness to the death and resurrection of Jesus. Standing up for our persecuted brothers and sisters engenders encourage in ourselves and others. That was step 4. Stand up for your brothers and sisters. Have compassion on others. This is the power that you had. When we raised aid to persecuted Christians to the level of a government ministry, we got to protect Christians. We got to protect the Christian culture. This is the power that a 0.02% of the population of the world can have. Okay? When your government, this is the difference between having a government from the top down and Christianity from the bottom up. It's when Christian principles, when people get in and they enact Christian principles, they enact love, they enact mercy and grace and truth. Who would have known it would grow and influence others? Mr. Orban also shared some sobering facts about the extent of the real world drama. 4 out of 5 people persecuted for their faith are Christians. And some 245 million Christians around the globe suffer extreme persecution. And Viktor Orban has made it his mission to not be politically correct. And this is another article where he tells the new Austrian government that should reject political Islam. He drew the line in the sand, and because he's in Hungary and he's the prime minister, he's not censored, and everybody in Hungary can say what they want about political Islam, which we can't, but they can in Hungary. Isn't that fantastic? So he's saying it like it is, and he hopes the next Austrian government would reject political Islam. So in Austria, they're kind of on the fence there, but they're leaning way more towards the Hungarian side of thinking than the German side. The meeting comes only weeks after Austria held its polls. So here's the picture here. He also went on to say that the Hungarian government did not want to interfere with Austrian election. And so then we have, lastly but not leastly, Spain. Little socialist Spain. The Vox party rose to power on the same principles. The Vox party this year took 52 seats in Congress on Sunday, outstripping most forecasts and representing a major increase on the 24 seats it held previously. Vox, anti-immigration, not anti-immigration, anti-illegal immigration, nationalism, tougher controls on immigration. I believe that they're pro-life, pro-Christian, pro-family, and we see this, quote, rise of nationalism in Europe, percentage of the votes here in Europe, the rise in we're going to call it nationalism. Number 1, I believe it's like Hungary, or number 1 is Poland. Number 2 is Hungary here. Number 3, it looks like populism, nationalism, Hungary, Austria, Switzerland, Denmark, Belgium, Estonia, Finland, France, Netherlands, Germany, Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Slovenia, Poland. I don't know what those numbers are.
Lola Bell's on
all the
Periscope says, I have never been prouder to be Polish. I agree. Good for Hungary. Wow, that's amazing. Imagine that. I sure hope America follows suit.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
So you have 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes.
You already had
Poland.
12.
Poland.
Okay.
Populist top Poland vote, expand majority welfare and family values. Poland's governing right-wing party took the lead, and the Sunday's election, they ran on families. They ran on putting families first. They ran on Jesus is king.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put that Poland says LGBT ideology is a threat to our nation. Triumph for traditionalism. Polish government increases. So you can go to Breitbart and read a lot of these great articles. And both Hungary and Poland are actually financially incentivizing people. And in Italy, oh my gosh, last country, Italy. Okay, Salvini was on the rise, and they had a coalition government. And he put a crackdown on immigration. He's so popular now. Italy is kind of one of those dots, okay? Because Salvini had to step down because there was a different coalition made, a super leftist coalition made in Italy.
But the people haven't changed. But that was in the government.
From what I'm reading, 2020 and January and February, there are certain votes and certain court things that are happening that could cause the left-wing government to collapse in Italy. Okay, so I want you to keep an eye on Salvini and an eye on Italy, because the populism and the support for Salvini is bigger and stronger. And sometimes you could say, like Donald Trump, impeach Donald Trump, he gets more powerful, more popular than ever. Right. Salvini is more popular than ever. And so 2020 and beyond, you're going to see Italy take a huge step forward and gain control again over Europe in a powerful, godly way. But there's a demonic forces there with the Pope and against the Christian, the real Christianity, that Salvini has real Christianity. He wants to protect family values. He wants to protect women and children. He I think if you have 3 kids, then you can have like a loan forgiven. They're given,
it's incredible.
Poland and Hungary and Italy, they're all given some sort of like loans for homes. And Russia. Loans for homes. If you're a mother and you have like 3 kids, you never have to pay, and one of them you never have to pay income tax again. It's absolutely crazy. And in Italy, it's new kids. So if you have kids, you don't get the special. They want you to have more kids, and we don't want to grow through mass migration and things like that. So guys, no song today. This is our song. Our song is use the gospel as protection.
Barry had requested Old Lang Syne. If we do a New Year's Eve special, we will sing it then.
Yeah. We gotta go.
We will open your card, Wicked Psyched, on the New Year's Eve special, because we have dogs that are waiting to go outside. That's why we have to hurry. Party! Okay. That's what's going to happen in 2020. A party. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it is not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. Like our page, comment. We want to hear from you guys. We love hearing from you guys. There are many comments I haven't had a chance to go and read yet, but there were a lot of really good ones from our Christmas special and stuff. So it really does encourage us. So thank you.
At the end, we didn't get to cover Sweden and the bombings, and if they just need to wake it up and the Denmark saying, hey, stop with the bombings, and it's just absolutely amazing what's happening in poor Canada. You got Justin Trudeau. Come back to us when you vote him out.
Oh my gosh. So we have a P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. If you send us your letters, we will read them on air. So please do that.
Canada still needs a little bit more of they're too nice. Their Christians are too nice.
Yeah.
They're Christians. Canadian Christians. You can get your country back.
Right.
Okay.
So if we did do a New Year's Eve special, do you want to ring in the New Year with them? No. It would we would maybe ring it in, and like friends of ours are doing a Greenland New Year where they ring it in when Greenland goes at 9:00.
Yeah.
So that could be fun. All right, we love you guys. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth. We'll see you back later this week.
We do such worldwide news. It will be New Year's somewhere.
Yeah. We'll just ring it in like on the hour, whatever hour that is. So.
Happy New Year to
Happy New Year coming.
Poland.
Say prayer for our Uncle Jack, who is having a heart surgery on Monday. Just a little, I call it the rotor-rooter. It's a rotor blader or something like that. They're going to put a couple stents in. So we love you guys, and we'll see you later this week. And if not on New Year's Eve, probably New Year's Day, but for sure on Friday at 6 p.m. and next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Woo woo.
God bless, guys.
Was cold, all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you call my name.